Well, hello. Welcome to a weekly live chat here. Deborah Van Sant, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight. So I see we got at least six people logged on here already. So appreciate everybody popping on to join me for a few minutes this evening. Oh, somebody gave a thumbs up already. Thanks. Yeah, if anybody's watching, those thumbs up help. So I'm still making my way across Colorado. I'm getting close to Utah now, but still in Colorado. So I'm actually in the western Colorado high desert, I guess they call it. I think it's what I've been seeing. Noreen, hello. Glad you were able to join tonight. So yeah, I'm over in the western Colorado in the high desert, almost to Utah. Actually, if you wonder how close I am to Utah, I can literally see the La Salle Mountains, which are right outside of Moab. I can see those from my campsite if I were to walk out there. But I took a picture earlier and it's a little hazy, so you can't really see them in the picture too good. But they're over there, so I'm right close to Utah. We got mouse boots here. Yeah, thumbs up for the Boston shirt. There we go. I'm a Boston native, so I got a root for New England. And my son and daughter-in-law actually gave me a shirt, I guess a year and a half ago, something like that. So, yeah, a little while ago anyway. So I wear it occasionally. Not too often, so, I see my folks are on here. They're actually out there in New England. And Doug, hello. Thanks for logging on. Doug and Buddy. Oh, no, Noreen, you haven't made it to Colorado yet. The Colorado's varied. It's a lot of plains in the east, and then it's got a lot of mountains. And then the western part here is kind of that high desert, very similar to parts of Utah or, parts of Nevada maybe. So kind of interesting. It's been a lot more scenic than I expected, and I've been through a bunch of times, but I never got off the interstate on in this area. I was just was going through to somewhere else. So it's been interesting to get out and explore a little and see some of the scenery and whatnot. So let's see. Yeah, Boston born and Boston bred. There you go. Curtis, hello. Thanks for logging on. So you still down in Colorado, Curtis? So I'm up in the other corner, just about to Utah. Just if you weren't on before, I was just telling people I could see the La Salle Mountains where we went four by in when we were in Utah before, so I can actually see the backside of them now. So yeah, I don't have much of an accent. I kind of, I was there for a while, then grew up a lot in Western Mass and lived in New Hampshire a bit, and some other places, and so I guess it's muted. So Western Mass, they don't talk with as much of an accent as like Boston, but there's still some. But Judy, Christmas Valley, Oregon, man, we went through there actually when we were making our way back from we left from out of Medford, made our way back to Wyoming. We actually went through that area. Very very scenic up there. Matter of fact, we had to feature some clips from that in a video we did from our travels up there because it was really nice. Okay, Curtis is still in Colorado, so yeah, I'm making my way over still, probably Utah pretty soon. So yeah, for those of you who wonder, my mother said she got an accent for all of us. Her accent got not so bad when she lived in upstate New York for a bunch of years, but then she went and moved back to Boston area, and it took her about a day to pick it up again. Oh man. So yeah, I've been working my way across I-70, and if you've been following along, you probably heard me say by now that camping options have been thin along. They don't require a 4x4 or that you don't have to that you have a cell signal at, and it's been kind of thin. So which I knew would be a problem, but it's a little worse than I expected. But I got this place. I'm over here in the state line. It is literally the best campsite I've had all along I-70. It's been more than 2 weeks now, so that was a nice that was nice. So still grateful for that. So Vesta Moon in Ohio, welcome. Thanks for joining. So, yeah. Um, so anyway, the fun thing with this campsite, I see I put chance meetups in the title. So I got a viewer, Jared and his wife Jordana. They're in the Grand Junction area, and we were trying to coordinate, but YouTube doesn't let you just send a message to people like they used to. They did away with that because nobody used it, and I would actually forget about it too. And would it was never the notifications were never good as a problem. So I'd like check it. Realize I had messages from 6 months ago I'd never seen. So anyway, we were trying to coordinate to meet up when I was coming through this area, and so we saw the video I did for Colorado National Monument, which is just outside of Grand Junction, and sent me a message, but or comment, Now I'm like, we got to figure out how to meet up while I'm here. But I'd had enough. I'd been 2 nights at Walmart in Grand Junction, and I was tired of the noise. So I'm like, I'm going out of town to this place I got to lead on, and I'll try and get in touch with these folks from here and see if I can meet up still while we're here, because I'm not too far from Grand Junction. Well, so anyways, I come out here and go exploring out in some BLM land and go down a road a few miles and don't find anywhere to camp and go back and try another one, and I kind of get to the end of it and there's people camped there, so I turn around and come back out. Well, I see these little trikes they had. Well, this pulls up behind me as I pull another campsite back up the road a little ways, and this person says, "You Robert?" so, so yeah, it turns out Jared and Jordana were actually camped in the same place I decided to camp for the weekend. They're up here for the weekend, and I mean, what are the chances of that? I mean, talk about it I mean, we're absolutely out in the middle of nowhere. If you've seen some of the photos that I've been putting on Instagram or Facebook, you have an idea for how remote it is out here, and it's just remote, and and, and there's different roads I could have gone down and they'd never have seen me, and I just happened to end up driving by their campsite. So we ended up hanging out. This was on Saturday, so we ended up hanging out on Saturday afternoon and evening, and then again on Sunday morning, and did a little hike. Got to go check out a cave that was nearby that they'd seen when they were out riding around earlier in the day. So that was fun. So it was neat getting to meet up, and it's just a total one of those things you couldn't plan if you tried to, to just bump into somebody out in the middle of nowhere. And this is just one of many places they camp around here. So if I got here on a different day or in a different place or whatever, so it was that was pretty fun getting to bump into them up here. So let's see. Doug says no Boost mobile service in most of Colorado, especially in the mountains. Yeah, it's been a challenge. And I got Verizon and AT&T, which are there's places where they're not the best, obviously, where other carriers are stronger. But for the most part, that gives you a pretty good coverage. And yeah, I was still struggling with um, just because you have to be close to a town or a highway, and a lot of those places are closed to camping. So it's a bit of relief now that I got out here. I actually got a really good signal on both AT&T and Verizon right here, and so not lots of scenery, nice and quiet. So that's always cool. Let's see, Tony from northeastern Arkansas. I still got to get back to Arkansas and explore some more. I've only been through there like a couple of quick trips through. So, oh, Chad in Denver now. Hope things are going well for you there. Sorry we weren't able to meet up when I was coming down through. I literally just came down 25. I stayed in Wyoming one night, and then about halfway between Douglas and but halfway between Gillette where I left in Cheyenne, and then so I stayed like in the middle, and then just went through Cheyenne and down to Denver and straight out I-70, and it was hot and yeah, that was back when that was that 90 something degree spell a few weeks ago, so I just boogied through. I didn't even slow down there. Uh, so yeah, so Dinosaurs, man. Um, there's a lot of fossils they found in this area in western Colorado. There's even a town not too far from here named Dinosaur, Colorado. Um, I remember going through there when my kids were little. They thought the name was the coolest thing, and they were there to tell me they still remember it. Um, but there's a lot of fossils they found in this area. So I'm camped not far from a spot, the BLM site, where you can actually walk around and see fossils. They have like interpretive signs and everything to tell you what's going on. It's like a 1.6 mile trail, so it's kind of a, you know, but anyway, that was really cool. So I hiked around there today. Uh, I was able to see some fossils thanks to the signs telling me what to look for. Otherwise, I might have walked right by and not noticed it. Um, but anyways, I got some photos of that, so I'll be putting them up on social media in the next couple days probably. But that was a lot of fun getting to walk around and see some dinosaur fossils. So uh, that's kind of a unique experience. So that was my excitement this morning. I went for a hike and saw dinosaurs, or what's left of them. So, and I got a picture of a lizard too. So he's kind of like, that's kind of like close to a dinosaur, I guess, right? He was still alive. So, oh, so the rest of moons, they just switched to boost. You may, I mean, Doug may be able to give you more information, but you're probably, I'm gonna guess here, you'll make out okay if you're in towns are along the main roads, but the mountains are tricky on, yeah, just because basically if you can get a campsite that's like on the side of the mountain facing a major highway, or like I am right now, or facing a town, you probably can pick up the towers there. But once you start getting off, outside of that, I mean, the rocks block the signals, and it just doesn't usually work out well. Oh, I wonder if I forgot to turn that on or something, Kay. I have to enable that every time, and I thought I turned it on in case anybody wanted to, but, um, huh. And I can't get out to check it now because I'm already in the chat, so sorry about that, yeah. Okay, and Doug's saying Boost is basically major cities in Colorado, so yeah, I've had a pretty good luck with my Verizon on 70. I'm just in places where it drops out because, like Glenwood Canyon they call it or something. Yeah, that was kind of. So anyway, there's a few places where it's just, you know, spotty, because you're in between towns and you're in a canyon. But for the most part, it's worked pretty good along 70. But but once I get off, out of the beaten path. But I'm camped right now. Actually, I don't know which one's which, but I have cell towers, line of sight that way and line of sight that way. So I'm assuming one is Verizon and one is AT&T because they're both really really strong here. So that's kind of a sweet spot where you can find a place out in the middle of nowhere with lots of scenery and places to hike and all that stuff, and your line of sight to towers. That's about as good as it gets. And Leadville, boy, I have not used AT&T down there. I've used Verizon down there, and that was rugged. I mean, I had a signal. It just was so slow. And then I've been hearing this basically the same thing with AT&T there. So I have not been there this year. Last time I was there last year, I only stayed a day or two and left because I couldn't deal with the coverage being so, the phone signal being so, but the speed being so bad. But so yeah, sometimes cell boosters help. It just depends on if there's no signal around, a booster doesn't help you. But if there's a signal and it's just weak, Sometimes I can pull it in and give you a little more performance out of it. Oh, Jana in Texas, hello. So, um, so travel, yeah. So I was gonna touch on travel plans real briefly too. So I'm right on the Utah border right now in western Colorado. Like I was saying earlier, I can see the La Salle Mountains by Moab. So I think Moab's my next stop. Um, I'm not sure when yet. I might head over tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. Pretty sure it'll be this week sometime though. Um, but I think I'm going to Moab next. I've got a couple of other places that sound really cool in New Utah still across Utah. So um, that's looking forward to checking those out and be able to share those. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Deborah saying she's about to switch to Verizon. Yeah. Yeah. Verizon. I used to say Verizon was hands down the best out west here. And I think these days it's a toss-up between Verizon and AT&T. I think technically, if you look at the coverage maps, Verizon still has a little bit more coverage than AT&T, but sometimes you'll have better, and one or the other is better. So with both of them, I can usually get. Sometimes one's better than the other, um, but usually if you most places if I have one, I have the other. It's just sometimes one's faster, and seeing as how I'm using it for work, that's kind of you know um, that's kind of worth the aggravation. So my my Verizon is a regular you know postpaid account. My AT&T is a prepaid one I have that kind of gives me flexibility that way. Um, let's see, Vesta moons. That's not prices on big name plans. I think Verizon and AT&T are both too expensive for the postpaid, but I'm using it for work, so it makes sense to me to have that support and to the flexibility that goes with that. And they do the any of the resellers you can get deprioritized on the same network. How often that happens, it depends. But if you're going to Leadville or Quartzsite, I mean, it's gonna come up. So as soon as I use it for work, I do pay extra for my main one, to just pay for it. But then the hotspot is actually right here. This is actually an AT&T and hotspot, and this one I'd use on a prepaid, and that just that's basically my data. I can use the Verizon then for data too, but as long as the AT&T works, I just use that, and then the times I need to use the Verizon I can. But so, Deborah's off visiting some friends, um, so I'm not sure if she wants to say where she's at, so I'll leave that up to her if she says where. But she's off visiting some friends she hadn't been able to see in a while and taking advantage of that opportunity. So, yeah, Doug's mentioned T-Mobile. I've been hearing pretty good things about that too, and they have some interesting plans from what I understand. So that might be something to think about too. So oh, Dinosaur Ridge. Do they have is that they got fossils up there too, or is that just you know, I'm not familiar with that place, but be interesting. So yeah, lots of good hiking opportunities in Colorado though for sure. So, so I started saying earlier, I'm leaving sometime this week, possibly as early as tomorrow, heading towards Moab. I got some great places lined up I want to check out over there. and in other places in Utah. So I'll be checking those out. And oh, okay, they got dinosaur tracks up there. That's cool. Um, I'm gonna one of the places I'm going to Utah is supposed to have dinosaur tracks. I definitely am hoping to see that. I didn't see any tracks today, just the fossilized remains in rocks and stuff in sandstone or granite. So it was pretty cool. But I'd love to see some tracks too. So that sounds like a fun hike. So I'm going, but at several other cool sites, and one of them is that I'm looking at going to is going to be some dinosaur tracks. I hope so. That's what I read and that's what I hear, but well, I haven't been there yet, so we're going to see. I'll be sharing all those things coming up. So, and Noreen's asking, I'm working on the next issue of Meanders. I am. I'm trying to decide exactly what's going to go in it so far, but I've been seeing some great stuff here in western Colorado. I had originally planned to do the Colorado foliage in it. That was going to be my lead thing for the next issue, and I couldn't breathe up there at the 10, 11,000 feet, so I ended up going to lower elevation, and I'm just not interested in backtracking to try it again. So um, I'm shifting, and so but I am working on it. Yeah, definitely shooting and trying to categorize to figure out how that'll come together. But definitely looking forward to getting that one out again. So yeah, Moab, then some other sites in Utah, then Pahrump. I'm thinking mid-October is what I'm aiming for, or southern Nevada area, basically. Um, and then Arizona, probably mid to late November. I know some people get there earlier, but it's usually pretty hot down there in Quartzsite, Ehrenberg, and even Havasu City. It's usually pretty hot. So, oh yeah. Well, fortunately, my father's not logged on here, so he can't rat me out with the moose track story from New Hampshire. Next time we're in the same place, I should get him to tell that story on video so I can share it. Yeah, Chad, glad to have been, hopefully helpful to you for the information and stuff and inspiration. That's hope that's going well for you there in Denver, and that's got to be a bit of an adjustment from coming up from Florida and everything. Um, but yeah, let me know how things are going for you. I would have loved to have met up if I was still over that way. Yeah, Noreen, that was a couple of years ago. Well, I mean, I'm from New England, so I love foliage, and I went through 2 years ago, 2 falls ago, in down in like Silverton and down that way, and it was just stunning. But we'll see what I can find. See if I can find any lower elevation foliage where the air is thick enough to breathe still. So, uh, oh, it's pretty nice in PHC. Yeah, I'll be making my way down there, but um, it's a challenge with the yeah 4 a.m. right. I'll say with those afternoons, boy, they can get hot still with with the sun. So no shades. I actually right now where I'm parked, I got this spot that's a couple little I don't know what they are, junipers or scrub pines. I don't know, some little evergreen tree that's just west of the van. So when I came back from doing errands earlier and checking out the dinosaur fossils, I parked the van right up against these trees. So I've got a little bit of shade on the van, but it doesn't block my rooftop solar because the trees are short. And I got my portable one out behind the van, so I actually got a little bit of shade today. So I'm about 10 degrees cooler than I have been inside the van. So that's nice anyway. Uh, but yeah, as soon as it cools down, that's my big thing for moving to the desert. Is I'm just kind of like watching the temperatures, and if they're too hot still, I'm like trying to drag my feet a little before I go any further. But that's so. If you really want to know when I'm going to make it to southern Nevada or Arizona, just look at the temperatures. Oh yeah. Curtis is down there, not too far down south of Denver still. So. Oh. I think I've gone through all the excitement I got going on for myself. So unless there's any other exciting questions or anything like that, I'll probably go ahead and wrap this up and let everybody go. So Jeff says Flagstaff's pretty comfortable right now. That probably I actually thought about when I was in the back in the mountains, and I was debating still at that point. I'm like, do I want to go over to Moab or do I want to drop down to Flagstaff and go from there? Because I like Flagstaff a whole lot too. Um, so it was kind of a toss up. You know, I could get to Flagstaff earlier for sure because it's a lot higher than Moab, and southern Nevada. So I did think about going down that way, but eventually. This way one out to go through Moab. So maybe next year I'll do that. So or the spring. So let's see. Vesta say you have solar on the roof and panels to lay out. How's that working for you? Yeah, what I've got is I wanted to put a bunch on the roof, but I've got this conversion van with a really funky roof on it. There's not a flat spot on the entire roof. It's all angles and edges and all funny stuff. The good news is it's aerodynamic, which helps the gas mileage. The bad news is just a fiberglass roof for a conversion van, so it's not like reinforced. So I don't have like some of the add-on ones are. They're designed to put stuff on the roof. Um, so the only thing I could get up there is a single 100-watt panel. I couldn't even. It was almost the spot almost big enough to put two 100-watt flexibles, and it just didn't quite make it. So it was just a little bit too small. So I've got a 100-watt on the roof that at least keeps something coming in all day long, and then I've got a 100-watt. It's actually a rigid, the kind you normally would mount on your roof, that folds up, and I have some DIY legs on it, and that goes under the bed, and so that sits out. So when I put them both going, you know, I can get a lot of power in. So plenty of power for me because I still have just a cooler. I don't have a refrigerator or anything. So it's basically the laptop and hotspot and a fan. You know, that's pretty much it. So the phone. So so I need to upgrade my batteries. And after I do, I'll probably get one more. I think maybe to put outside a portable one because I just can't get more on the roof without getting like into. Basically, the only option would be like putting a custom fabricated roof rack on, which I mean is doable, but I have to go up like 18 inches from the gutters to rain gutters to clear the high top. So I'm afraid that'll mess up the gas mileage. I'm not sure how it'll look or anything. So I'll probably stick with portable. As far as how it's working, it does a really good job when I'm out camping because it gives me, like right now, it gives me flexibility. I've got the power on the roof, and then I've got one that I can angle around to the sun to get the best bang for my buck out of it. So it works pretty good as a tandem. Um, on one hand, it works. At least I have something on the roof. When I first got this, I didn't have anything on the roof. I only had the one portable one. So if I was doing errands or traveling, I wasn't getting any charge on the battery, which if I ended up traveling all day was a real problem because then I had like, you know, no power. So this way, at least I have something coming in, even when I'm traveling and stuff. And usually, if I'm traveling, I'm not using any power off the house systems, anyways. So, you know, that whatever that puts in goes into the battery. Um, but sometimes it's a pain, like when if I'm in I was in Grand Junction for a couple of days doing some errands and getting some things caught up. And I was hanging out at the city park that just didn't have anywhere to park and put out the portable, so I was relying on the 100-watt on the roofs. That's kind of the time when it's a bit of a pain, but there are some advantages to it as well. So it's kind of a um, pros and cons. That kind of I guess it kind of balances out a little bit, but and it is nice. Like right now, like I said, I can park with some west shade on the van and still put the solar panel out in the sun. So let's see. Doug says things are a little crowded in Flagstaff. Yeah, that's a popular spot. And there's only just so many places you can get up 7,000 to 8,000 feet there. So I guess it's not surprising. So. And yes, I am meandering. I'm trying to. What I'm trying to do on this trip is, and it doesn't always work because of sometimes there isn't camping or places don't work out. But I'm trying to limit it to like 50-ish miles per move, and then stay for a few days and travel a short distance. And the idea is to kind of be able to explore a little bit and see an area more than um, rather than like going 3 or 4 or 500 miles and staying for a week. I'm just trying to move slower. Um, and I may stay over in the Moab area a little longer, although I'll probably change campsites a few times because I've got some different places I want to see, different areas around there. But that's kind of the thing. Yeah, I'm kind of meandering and trying to not go too fast. Um, that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve is a short day's drive and stay for a couple days. So, let's see. I bet it is still hot in San Antonio, Texas now. We were through there in the springtime, and that was really cool. Went on the river walk and everything. I really enjoyed that. So, Jeff says on the mileage, I'm running about 18 and a half miles a gallon in this van. And that's with a automatic transmission and a 5.0 liter engine, which is basically a 302. And but it does have the high top, and that's holding it at like 60 or 65 on the highway. I'm not like driving very fast either. So yeah, free shade with enough solar on the roof. Exactly. It's hard to complain about that, right? Linda's asking. I saw your call. I did not see your. I saw something about us like a spelling correction, Linda. Let me go back and see if I can find it. Um, yeah, I don't know if it maybe it didn't make it up on my screen here. Yeah, the one I'm seeing is okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will go back and find it later, Linda. If I must have missed it, 'cause I saw you later on, but not. I think I missed that comment you're talking about. So I'll have to go back and check that. So. Oh, Noreen's did not find it either. So maybe it didn't maybe it didn't actually post. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try reposting it. So all right. Well, I think I probably ought to go ahead and wrap this up. I got through everything I could think of talking. I'm gonna have a quiet week, other than my, finding a new campsite and my chance meetup. But it's a nice spot. I was gonna hoping to be able to show you around, but my portable tripod, Moto mini tripod, the leg broke off when I was setting this up for this video, so I can't just, you know, I got on a big tripod. It's not as easy to show around, but and I tried out the back earlier, and it just blows out. So, but I'll have some more pictures and stuff on social media from here, so you can. Yeah, my mother's glad it's a quiet week, so she worries when I have too much adventure. Uh, Deborah Van Sant, have I done a video about hotspots? I have not. Let me grab my trusty pen and make a note for myself, and I will add that to my to-do list because I actually keep a spreadsheet with video ideas, and some of them get done pretty soon, and some take a while, um, but I do get to them eventually. So, all right, so it's on the list. I will get that onto my spreadsheet as soon as we're done here, and I'll see what I can do about that. And I know there's a lot of people have a lot of questions with them and why you would use one of these instead of just using your phone. And for some people, it probably doesn't, it's not a big deal. But for others, it does make sense. So, like in my case, there's a bunch of reasons why I use a dedicated hotspot. I didn't always. I started off using just my phone, and I made the switch. And for me, it makes a lot more sense. But it wouldn't for everybody. So I'll go over. I will plan on doing a video of that soon because that's actually a really good question. It might be helpful information for people who aren't used to using them, because if you're used to being at home and you got your internet at home, you don't really think about stuff like that. So I'll go over some of those details. So, Vesta Moon, thanks for joining. Let's see, Linda saying, what's recreational Carolyn about using trucker, booster, making broom handles, and connect to side track. All right, I'll have to keep an eye out for that. That's I got the little. I don't have one handy to show you. I got little WeBoost boosters with little stick antennas outside, but I need to actually one of them I need to replace anyways because he doesn't have the right adapter on it. So, but yeah, that I will have to see what that's about. So. All right. Well, thanks everybody for logging on tonight and joining me, and we will we and boosters. Yeah, I should do a video of boosters too. I guess I'll add that to my list as well. So that's another thing that if you're not most some people use them if they're traveling in rural areas and stuff, but for most people it's not something you ever think about until you start doing this kind of stuff where you're trying to rely on finding signals and sometimes needing to boost it. So. Thanks, Mom. I will attempt to stay safe, and I'll let you know where I land. So, Doug says he's even known to put his phone up a tree and use the hotspot. There you go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for logging on tonight, and we will see you. There'll be another podcast Monday, and hopefully another one of these Tuesday if I'm somewhere I got bandwidth. Um, And I can't remember what, I think there's something else coming up this week. So, oh, the Google Maps video, that's what it is. I'm working on that. I'm going to try and get that up later this week as well. So, hopefully that'll be coming. And there's a new one on to Meander from yesterday about, if you haven't seen that yet, about our 4 challenges from the Pacific Northwest when we were out there this summer. So, a little bit tongue in cheek. It was a pretty good experience all around. But all right, good night. Yeah, so I'll see. Jeff's heading to Moab too. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm heading over that way. So as far as exactly when or where or all that, I don't know yet. But yeah, Moab's got some great scenery. It can be crowded. So we'll see how that crowds go. That'll have a lot to do with how long I'm there. So apparently tourist season's lasting longer than it used to, and I have a habit of trying to land in places before or after tourist season for the year, and Moab's is getting extended, so we'll see how that goes. It might be too crowded for me. All right, thanks for joining me, everybody. We will see you in the next video.